Alrighty, so today I want to go over the top 10 Dokkan Fest TURs before the worldwide download celebration. Now, we haven't had an update to this list since Roshi came out, and Roshi, I think, is a fun unit, but is not going to be like a, overall like game-changing, changes and switches up the whole order, right? Like, we usually don't see those with TURs unless it's like Golden Week or Saiyan Day. And then occasionally, like a mid-month Dokkan Fest or something like that will come out, and sometimes they'll be like the best unit in the game, but usually that is not the case, right? So, I think one thing to keep in mind, especially, is this game has definitely shifted towards being a little bit more LR driven over the last couple of years, where the meta is like LRs, right? Like it used to not be this way, but you can really get away with running just like a full LR team now, especially with characters like Beast Gohan in slot 1, where the biggest problem typically, like in the past with LRs, was like you have to have key because of the 24 key or getting 18 key was a big issue. But again, with characters like Beast Gohan and the way that they do things now, like it feels like almost every major LR has like extra key per orb. It's just nowhere near as much of a problem as it used to be. So again, TURs are great, and there are some really good characters on this list, but again, it is more of an LR driven game now. So just keep that in mind. Now, the last thing we need to do before we get into the list is, obviously, this is my opinion, and if you disagree, that's fine. And a lot of these, it's like, again, it's really just like, I think that the order really is just interchangeable between a lot of these characters, where if you want to move a character from like, the characters at 10, like you want to move one of them up to 8, you want to move one of them up to 7, like it's really not like the biggest deal, right? Like there's no like major gap between any of these characters, really. I think like the gap between 1 and 10 obviously is pretty significant, but like, the gap between 4 and 1 isn't like what it is between like Beast Gohan and, the 5th best LR like Universe 7 or Jiren or whatever, right? So keep that in mind. Again, my opinion, I play JP, so things are, I have to evaluate for Roshi and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. And at number 10, this is going to be a shared spot between Gamma 1 as well as Piccolo and Gohan. Now, I really like Piccolo and Gohan and Gamma 1 as well. It's kind of amazing that Gamma 1 is like the only not 2024 unit here, essentially, where it's like you look and you see Gamma 1 came out at the end of 2022, and then these guys were 2023. So like these are the oldest units on the list, and that is why they are at number 10. But I think that both of these characters play different roles, but they fit on similar teams, right? They both can go on the Beast Gohan team and kind of work out, where, Gamma 1 has guard, he has damage reduction, he's able to be built up pretty easy, and then ends up being a decent sort of support as well as a good floater on like a superheroes or a movie heroes team, right? You think about like the artificial life forms category or superheroes or special pose, like these are really good teams now that Gamma 1 can kind of just seamlessly fit in, even though, again, there are better options on the team, but we are evaluating TURs here. So I think Gamma 1 fits in really well with a lot of the teams that he's runnable on, and then the Piccolo and Gohan, especially on the Beast Gohan team with Bond Master and Disciple, having a revive in the back pocket is always good, and it's going to be like the same thing with Goku, UI Goku, Evolution Blue Vegeta. Revives don't like overlap with each other the way that domains do, right? Where it's like really a big problem. Now, this character is one that you want to prioritize getting the revival with, so you can go into the Gohan version, but it's not too bad. And if you want to kind of alter the team, like say you can't run the 6 years for a specific thing, then this Piccolo and Gohan I think is a solid fill-in, and I like them at number 10 just to kind of put them on the list and give them something to talk about. So let's go ahead and move on to number 9. All right, coming in at number 9, I have AGL First Form Frieza. Now, AGL First Form Frieza, I think that this is a character with a very high ceiling offensively, and defensively it is a bit tricky, but I think that just the like I said, the highs that this character can reach are higher than what Gohan and Piccolo and Gamma 1 can reach, and that's why I have them above, right? So number 9, I think AGL First Form Frieza, just like I said, has a lot of potential. The issue with this character, like, and you guys, this is not like the first time this has ever happened in Dokkan, right? This character dropped after the 9-year anniversary on JP, and it's seemingly like not one unit has come out that has given them a ton of help, right? Like, think about the Super Bosses team, right? Like, we have Full Power Broly. It's like, how many releases has the Super Bosses team got since like that team came out, or like that Broly came out, right? Like, We have 2 of them on the list right here with Toppo. We have this version of Rosé down here. We can scroll down and even look at this. I have like all the units pulled up here, but we have like Jiren, we have Cell Max, like so many major characters have come out to help out this Super Bosses team. And you look at a character like Frieza, and it's just like, you know, it's crickets, right? Like, this character is just kind of sitting in limbo. And if you wanted to put them at 10, I would completely understand that. But I think offensively, like I said, the numbers that this guy could put up are very impressive. And if you can kind of find like a way to give him like a slot 1 unit that goes in front, and then he goes to slot 2 and can just offensively put in work, he is putting up some very impressive damage. So I think number 9, I have him. But if you want to move him down to number 10, I completely understand that. So with that being said, let's move to number 8. And coming in at number 8, I have Hirudegarn. Now, Hirudegarn, we all love Hirudegarn, don't we? Our boy with the dodges, with the weaves. Hirudegarn. This character I find very interesting, right? I have him pulled up just so we could talk about it. I think that this one makes a little bit more sense to actually talk about. Dodge or die, right? It's a frustrating mechanic, right? But again, this is a very, very good character, right? We look at the teams that he is on, like these are going to be very helpful for us. We've got Movie Bosses, needs the help, Transformation Boost, sure. Resurrected Warriors, not really a team. Time Travelers, Timeless Legends, obviously not a team. And then these 2 are not really a team either. So it's like, you run him on Movie Bosses, a Transformation Boost. Essentially, you're just running him under the Broly lead, right? Like, this is just a character that could fit fine on the Broly lead if you want to run more of like a Movie Bosses-centric setup for it. But we also have like, you know, defense plus 50% when we're dodging and stuff like that. And then when we have the HP 70% or less after 3 turns, it's pretty easy to get, or after 6 turns. After 6 turns, we all know is not the best, but after we do transform, we have some good stuff here, you know, key 3 attack and defense 250 at the start of the turn and all that fun stuff. Great chance to evade enemy attacks, that's good. An additional attack, a chance to have a high attack when a turn, when an attack is evaded, so like that, it feels like slot 1, so that can be a bit frustrating at times. But if you get the 3 dodges off, this is a guaranteed dodging character, so again, it works pretty well. We have high chance to perform a crit and stuff like that. I think that this character defensively just has the utility that is a little bit more risky, but I think that just the ceiling defensively that this character has, I think is what puts them over the 3 units below him right now, right? I think with like an opportunity to have guaranteed dodge is so overpowered and broken in this day and age, and you have to keep that in mind. Like, that is very, very good, right? So Hirudegarn, I have at number 8. Let's go ahead and move on to number 7. All right, at number 7, I have Dragon Fist Goku. Now, Dragon Fist Goku, I think this character is very good. Dragon Fist Goku, it has access to a standby. Offensively, defensively, this character's got a lot of good stuff going on, right? Let's just go ahead and pull him up. Again, with characters like this, these are ones that, like, unfortunately, I don't have. And I know, it's like, why is this guy evaluating them? You know, it's just fun discussion, right? I think I've played this game enough to this point where I can kind of, you know, give an opinion about it. But if we go here, let me actually pull him up, because this is going to take a bit. All right. So, high chance to evade. Again, more dodging stuff. We have nullifying. We've got... when we go to the standby here, this is where I think things are interesting, right? Attack and defense was 333%, an additional, all that fun stuff. Massively raised attack. It's just what this character's bringing to the table is having that standby where it's like defensively they are going to work very well. We have dodging, we have defense 60% support essentially, an additional attack plus 33% and evade enemy attacks during the turn where the finish is activated. So when we do that Dragon Fist turn after the standby, this character's going to have access to a ton of offense, a ton of defense. Great chance to evade. We're getting more chance to evade when HP is 50%, 59% or below. We have a Scouter, and you guys know, like, this is basically why this character is the best of this bunch, in my opinion. The Scouter is really like what when a Scouter kicks in, you guys know it's like it's time to go like sicko mode, right? Like a Scouter is so good, right? When you know, like especially on like a Movie Heroes team, wherever you're going to be running this guy, like. Let's just say you have Beast Gohan on the same team with this guy, and you know you have the Scouter, and it's like, oh, there's the Super. Okay, that's where we put Beast Gohan, and it's just very helpful, right? And I think like you can't underrate the value that has, and that's why I have this guy at number 7, right? Defensive utility that he has, I think, is a little bit better than Hirudegarn's, and then also the offensive ceiling, I think, is a bit higher as well with the Dragon Fist. And then also just having a Scouter, I think, is more valuable than. You know, what Hirudegarn is doing, because the guaranteed dodging on Hirudegarn, unfortunately, is not guaranteed unless you fulfill a condition. So keep that in mind. I think that the Scouter is a little bit more valuable, so that's why I have him at number 7. But if you want to put him down at number 8, I think that is completely fine. So let's round out the bottom of the bottom half here, and that is going to be Dokkan Fest Roshi at 6. Now, Roshi, this character is very good. Like, let's not get it twisted, right? Like, all these characters on this list are very good. With Roshi, we can actually, this one will be an easy one to pull up, right? Like, with Roshi, I think that the teams that he is kind of working with are decent. Obviously, like, the Peppy Gals thing is kind of whatever. It's not a Peppy Gals world that we're living in, unfortunately, here. But he is a leader for other teams like that. Dragon Ball Saga, Turtle School. The Turtle School is a real team, and Dragon Ball Saga is not quite there yet, but worldwide, kind of looking like Dragon Ball Saga right now. So, activates the entrance animation. We have damage reduction, obviously very good. Turtle School thing's not hard to get. I just think that this character is a little bit too tied together to characters that, like, you don't want to be running at all times. But like this Bulma, if you have the Bunny Bulma, like this is a very, very helpful thing here for this guy, right? Plus an additional attack and defense plus 82% per Peppy Gal's ally. So it's like, again, like there's not a ton of Peppy Gals that you're running with this character, unfortunately, that isn't like Bunny Bulma, right? Like the Peppy Gals team is better. Like Videl is very good now. Bunny Bulma. You have this version of Roshi right here. I guess like how do you say her name? Like Coquette and the new Mai. Like they're okay, but I just think that there are better like better teams to be running than the one that this Roshi is leading right now. But again, like this character could easily shoot up to like 3 if like Dragon Ball Saga is worldwide and we have like a best unit in the game, Kid Goku, something like that, and you're just kind of running that team. I could easily see something like that working out. So again, I think that this character is extremely impressive and very good, but I just think that there are some better characters in the game right now, but I think that this character actually has like one of the better chances to sort of move up, right? He has a chance to stun, we're raising attack and defense, we're stacking attack on these super attack effects, we have damage reduction, additional attack that's pretty easy to have access to, damage reduction again right here, so like 50% damage reduction with this, like if we're just running Turtle School allies, and again, this character, like I said, is going to look very good. I just think that there is a little bit higher of a ceiling that he just does not have access to yet, but who knows? We shall see. So, rounding out the bottom half of this list, I have Roshi. If you want to move him up to 5, that's completely fine with me. So, let's move on to number 5, and that is going to be Physical Rosé. Now, Physical Rosé, this guy is doing a lot of attacks. Defensively, he's all right. You know, we have guard and stuff like that. But I think that the big issue with this character, again, is like the teams that you're running him on. We have the Zamasu domain, we have the Full Power Broly domain, and it's just this domain clash is just like, it's such nonsense, right? Like it's, I say this all the time when I'm doing videos covering this, but it's literally Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Like where we just have like a battle of domains, like which one do you want? And usually I'm taking the Full Power Broly domain first over this Rosé one, but again, if you want to use the Rosé one, I think that's fine. I just think that offensively, like the ceiling that this guy has, the amount of attacks that he is doing, the teams that he's working on, I like the Super Boss's team better than what like Roshi's team is right now, right? And that is basically why I have Rosé above him. If you want to put Roshi above Rosé, I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna argue with you too much on that. Really, like any spot on this list, that's the beauty of the TURs right now. You really can argue anything, and I think it's fine. So keep that in mind before you leave a nasty comment that like, really I think you can move these characters around. On any day, I can move them up. So with Rosé, again, I just think it's fun, like, to use Rosé. Like, you're just like, a character shouldn't be doing this many additionals, and it's kind of fun to watch. But sometimes it can be frustrating when it is all normal attacks. But again, I think that the ceiling of this character is very high. Ceilings for me are something that I like, I value, just because, like, when you can see that turn that they have that are super high, like, and it's like, oh my god, this is so much fun. Like, Full Power Broly especially, right? Like, when you see, like, a good Full Power Broly turn, you're like, oh my god, how is this not the best unit in the game, right? Like, that's what's fun about it. But like that's what's crazy about Beast Gohan, and I have to just glaze Beast Gohan every video, but like his floor is literally like so high, right? Like the worst that he is like better than any unit in the game at their best. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so Rosé at 5, I think that this is a good character, especially with all the offense that they're doing, the teams that they fit on. Like Super Bosses, Future Saga, like are becoming real teams with all these buffs with like Goku Blacks and, Zamasus and stuff like that. So that's why I have them where I have them. Let's move on to number 4. And number 4, I have Toppo. Now, Toppo, this is a very good character as well. The special pose team is legit, right? Like, I'll pull up the special pose team here. This is a very good team now, and it's kind of crazy to say that. Like, so imagine this is like before the 9th anniversary, and I'm like, yo, this year the special pose team is actually going to be like a real team. You'd probably be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? you leave a dislike, all that fun stuff. But really, like I said, this team is legit now. Like this team has like a very high ceiling, right? Like how many times can I mention a ceiling? But like you're running double Toppo leaders, you have the Gammas, you have Ginyu, we have this Ribrianne, Kakunsa, and Rosie, very good character. This Coquette right here, Dispo. You don't really want to run these two. These are more Universe 11 teams, but like I said, the Gammas, we have versions of Gotenks that work out really well. These versions of the Gammas, this Gotenks right here. This version of Toppo, like this team actually like has turned around really quick and become like a contender. Super Easy A, Gotenks, the Int Gotenks Easy A. Like this team, I don't think has like a lot of versatility in terms of like what you're going to be running with it. But overall, I think it is a very good team now, and that is what I think why you have to value this character as high as I do. I think that Toppo, like defensively, is just like is very, very good, right? And then this team also just has other defensive options as well. And we have access to characters like the Gammas with the standby and all that. We have the Super Easy A for Gotenks. Int Gotenks is Easy A. Sometimes Int Gotenks can be a bit of a frustrating character, but most of the time he's working out pretty well. Especially when you have like the ability to debuff a boss with like stunning and stuff like that. This character is going to be looking extremely good. And I think that this is like the best character on the special post team right now. It's between him and the Gammas, I guess. And yeah, that's why I have him as high as I do. I think the Toppo defensively, and like even if like you can run a version of this team that has access to some of the best characters in the game. Like if you run this character next to other special pose category or allies that are on like Universal Survival Saga and stuff like that, like with Toppo's leader skill, I think on global, like you can make a team that has Tech UI Goku with tournament participants, excuse me. Like you can run Tech UI Goku, AGL UI, Evolution Blue Vegeta, and then you just fulfill the other conditions with special pose for Toppo, right? When there are two or more, like, or Ally of Justice, right? So you run like this version of Toppo, and then when LR AGL Jiren comes out, you throw him on the team. You run like this version of Toppo right here. You run STR Dispo, and then all of a sudden, like you can get this guy's intro buff and have the Universe 7 category, like the best characters in the game essentially, on a team with this Toppo, and it works out very, very well. So that's gonna do it for the sort of like non-top three here. So the top three, in my opinion, I think 3 is Fat Boo, and 2 and 1, I think you can just you can interchange either of them depending on the event that you are playing. I love Fat Boo on the Majin Power team. This guy's got all sorts of fun stuff going. Defensive stacking, we have guard, we have access to a Ghost Usher, orb changing, revive, you know, defensive stacking, everything that you need for this character to kind of complement a character like physical Boo Tanks. This is what this character is bringing to the table, being a wall defensively to help Boo Tanks reach that ceiling that he could potentially reach and be one of the better characters in the game. I underrated Buhan a little bit in my LR Easy A list, but again, I know I was wrong about that. So this character helps complement Buhan, who's like, you know, a top 6-5 LR Easy A in the game. And keep that in mind, I think that this guy is going to work out very well. Now, the last two. Right now, I have it as Vegeta, and then I have it as Super Saiyan 3 Goku. If you want to do this, I have no problem with that, right? So before you leave that comment, I have no issue with that whatsoever. However, why I have Goku at 1 over Vegeta, it's simply the way that this game has kind of shifted in terms of like the meta and power creep, if you will, is like you have characters that snowball so quickly now that you just need to be able to just survive and get out of those first few turns, and then you are good to go, right? And there's no better character to survive the initial onslaught of what unit or bosses are bringing to the table than the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. If you have another Majin Buu Saga category ally like STR Vegeta on the team or something like that, this is a character that's going to have 90% damage reduction in slot 1, turn 1. You can just toss him in, turn 2, turn 3, whenever his first appearance is. This is a character I like getting in slot 3 or 7 sometimes, right? Because like you can put him in slot 3 and have 90% damage reduction the first time you see him. This is a character that can just go in slot 1, anchor it down, and then when he loses damage reduction, you pivot him off, you put him into slot 2, you put him into slot 3, you're still gaining access to damage reduction on supers, you can still counter blast supers. It's like offensively, you easily can see this guy still be fine. Defensively, he does fall off a little bit, unfortunately, but I think it's to the point where you can get away with running this guy in slot 2 or slot 3. It's just these supers, like Goku and Frieza's super, spoiler alert, like is taking out like basically this whole list, right? Unless you're like on turn 20 with like Buhan, with even, I think even on like turn 20 of stacking with this character, like it's still too much, right? Like you have to keep that in mind. Like the Goku and Frieza super just like I'm pretty sure just deletes this list. The Thanos snaps it, right? Like I guess because this guy's a revive, that is what would probably put him up for like the Goku and Frieza Super, would put him at 1, I guess. But you do have to keep that in mind, right? So Vegeta, I really like running him like with Super Saiyans and stuff like that. Any team that you need to be running him on Pure Saiyans, all of those fun things. When you transform, he has a super high offensive ceiling. Defensively, he's holding it down. I like both of these characters. You could honestly do something like this. If you really wanted to do something like that, you could, and I think that'd be fine. So there we have it. For the sake of keeping things linear, at number 1, I have AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. At number 2, I have Tech Super Saiyan Vegeta. At number 3, I have Int Fat Boo. At number 4, I have Physical Toppo. Number 5, I have Physical Rosé. At number 6, I have STR Roshi. Number 7, I have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. At number 8, I have Hirudegarn. Number 9, I have Full Power First Form Frieza. Number 10, I have Gamma 1 and a shared spot with Gohan and Piccolo. So let me know down below what you guys think of this specific list. This one was a tough one, but if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like as well. Comment your list down in the comment section below, and subscribe if you are new so you don't miss out on any Dokkan tier lists in the future. Let me know how bad my lists are. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.